I just sent you about 300 leads for IDA. Please,
Hurricane Ida.
Please do not share. Jay and I will help manage the account. If you want anything out of those, all we ask is the adjusting work. Good luck, sir. Thank you. Thanks. Got the opportunity to work together.
Isn't that awesome?
300
leads.
That's insane.
For Hurricane Ida.
So, what's up, everybody?
Whoa, Wednesdays. Holy moly, folks.
Back
We
in
just
the
read a
war.
win just now.
With the triple threat back in effect, we're all here. Casey, first and foremost, thanks for holding the fort down last week with our other brothers, Ben and Aaron. It's great to be able to continue this.
I don't think we're going to invite Aaron back for a minute.
Not if he keeps putting those things on our tire stems.
Yeah, he keeps putting those little
kind of guy.
Those little pranksters.
So today's Winning Wednesday. We're pumped as hell to be back in the room.
Yeah, we are.
To get in here and get back to work.
Bring some energy.
What we always do when Doc started this was talk with our Winning on Wednesdays. So Doc, you just got a pretty good one. You can go first.
Oh my God.
Personal, professional, best, baby.
The doggone universe seems to love Doc Rannigan. You guys know why? It's because we do the right thing even when nobody's looking.
Love it.
So when you put good into the world, good's going to come back to you tenfold.
Right.
I mean, there's a ton of books out there that say that. Winning on Wednesday, personal wise, man, I've just continued to try to be the best doggone husband and dad with my kids. I got a senior, I got a freshman, I got a kindergartner, I got a wife who's just a major hustler, and I'm just trying to live up to the capabilities that I know I'm capable for, personal wise. But business, I was just sitting here and a text comes in and they said, "Hey, Doc,
after the car warranty."
After the
let's be
hey, I got a car warranty voicemail and they're like, "Hey, they want to extend my warranty." And I'm actually going to think about taking them up on it.
Yeah.
I'm at about 200,000 miles on the truck. So something's bound to break here in the near future. So.
Hey, Cliff, thanks for joining in and watching, brother. We appreciate you.
We know good.
Welcome, Cliff.
And I just got a text message from a good friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey, I just sent you 300 leads for the Hurricane Ida, and I have some folks down there right now helping out the people in Louisiana and Baton Rouge."
That's sick.
So
that's amazing.
Extremely excited.
Remarkable.
Extremely grateful for the relationships that I've developed over the last few years, and just continue to be honest with the people I deal with, and that's why they feel comfortable with sending out so many leads and trusting Doc's Roofing and Construction. So enough about me, KC. What about you, Law Dog?
All right, so wins on Wednesday. I got super motivated, super pumped about writing this, and decided to just even up my game more about training.
Mm-hmm.
So
your employees are like, "Oh shit, here it comes."
Well, here, just building it, and I'm not going to steal anything from the show.
Yeah.
But I got a comment from a longtime employee, from one of our longest tenured employees, and she said how inspiring it was to be walking through the office in Terrell and listening to me on a Zoom training with both Terrell office and the Rockwall office, right? Just everybody's doing a drill. Everybody's doing a practice rehearse.
Yeah. And
just like how inspiring that was that she reached out, sent a text, how much she appreciated that. And that's my double win. That one, yesterday was like a Monday and a Tuesday rolled into one right after a long weekend. It's like a Monday and a Tuesday, just all balled up, stack of 5-pound sausage in a anyway, y'all know the saying. Yeah. And
nobody knows that saying.
Yeah, I heard like 10 pounds of shit.
Nobody.
We're keeping it clean.
Nobody has heard sausage in a
5-pound sausage. Maybe that's a conversation for after.
Yeah. Don't you throw us in your bus talking about socks and sausages. Okay, that's a liberal conversation.
So that's a professional win and a personal win, and it was fantastic. So great. Thank you, Diana. Thank you.
Kudos.
Man,
Jeff,
let's start. First off,
flow state.
I'm telling you, man, personal best right now is my mind is clearer than it's been in, I want to say, months, right?
Yeah.
We talked a couple weeks ago before I went out of town about hiring technician number 2. My mind is clear now and doing the homework that I did for 8+ weeks on my time management, I'm so clear and intentional with my time now. My guys are running the field crew. They're doing what they need to do, and I'm focused on the next step for my business. So personally, I'm clear. I'm laser focused, right? Business, I'm going to give this all to my man Big Country here, because I've put him in uncomfortable situations for the last 3 to 4 months to help him grow. And the dude's been killing it. He's been out there running our field team, doing installs. I put him in a situation today, and I told him at 08 this morning, I'm going to make this hurt for you on purpose. And he ran with it and flew through. Amazing. So proud. So, and Parker, our technician number 2 is really coming along. So, man, I tell you what, when you start doing the work, not only in your business, but on yourself, like we preach on a weekly basis, it's going to suck. It's not always easy, but do the freaking work no matter what. And the thing pays off, right? You get to sit back and you get to come up here and say, hey to Doc, and he gets to ask you, why are you here? And you're like, I got an hour to burn, instead of like, hey, I can't go do this and I can't go do that because I'm the technician, the build, the whole thing. So yeah, I'm just giving it all to, I'm just grateful, man. I'm just extremely grateful to be where we're at. We had talked while we were pre-gaming, and I kind of had this thing that's been on my mind all day long. Look at where we are as opposed to where we were 12 months ago. And that's for the audience too, right? That's not just for us sitting here. Stop and think where you were 12 months ago. And no one cares about the Boohoo Soft story, but where are you today? Have you been doing what you needed to be doing for the last 12 months to be where you thought you were going to be 12 months ago? Ask yourself that tonight before you get the wreck.
Was deep. That's deep, because our whole world went into a complacency department in 2020,
right?
And so there were some people out there that turned sheep into lions.
Well, think about your I don't know what you guys feel is exactly how I feel, but I feel like most of the time I'm on a rocket, right? My business is like being on a rocket, and I want that candle burning so hot, right? If you're moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, right, there's no room for the doubt and all the other little things that creep up, the disbelief, the haters, right? Because you just go. And then all of a sudden you're like, you're not essential. Time out. And, it's like getting a technical foul back in what?
Well, and that's why I asked the question.
You're going to put me out of the game?
Because if you think about where you were 12 months ago and where you are now, you could have still been working. You could have still been grinding, right? A lot of people were out of work. But you know what? I know a lot of people that grinded on themselves.
Yeah.
Some people started businesses. Last year, if you don't remember,
change job, just pivot, change professions.
Millionaires come out of the RVBA in the worst time.
Yeah.
So where were you 12 months ago, and where are you going to be in 12 months? Ask yourself that tonight and write it down. I promise you it's going to change your mindset.
Man, I'm looking forward for that Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Hey, audience, throw it in the chat.
Yeah.
Audience, throw it in the chat.
Share your wins. The more you recognize your wins, there's a benefit to doing that. There's a reason why people that are successful recognize their wins, recognize their gratitudes.
100%.
And it's because the devil's outside doing push-ups.
Every damn day.
Right outside.
There is a force of average that is always at our backside, that's always grinding to take us off course. But as long as we recognize our successes and we recognize our gratitudes, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're grateful. We got everything that we need and we want for nothing. And so remember that, folks. When you think that your life is upside down and horrible and this, that, and the other, you can always look back and say, you know what? I still persevered. I still made smart choices, and I still overcame. So,
absolutely. And celebrate those wins. I see too many people on social media and even in person it's great to be humble, but celebrate your wins. That's why you work so hard, Doc. I love it. Yeah.
That's so solid. I remember listening to one of our friends, one of our mentors, Mark Kippett.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he's like, no matter what, there's that warranty call. There's that warranty call right there. Or it might be a Hurricane Ida call. But, either way, do not disturb. Right, no kidding. But, he's like, there's people walking around in the Pentagon and they're grumpy about wearing 4 stars. Or there's people who just hit a lottery ticket, and they're dissatisfied, right? Whatever that is, right? So, but take a moment and celebrate those victories. Like I'm not going to steal your thunder, but you had this trip, this training, and this was an amazing opportunity to get your team into flow state, right?
Well, the bottom line to it is that the trip we went on, the expectation of what it was and what it ended up being was completely different. But here's the key, here's the win to it, is we showed up, we did what we needed to do for business, but then we switched our mindset and said, we're going to make this a positive trip.
Right.
We're going to go out and do some team building. We're going to make this worth the trip. And I tell you what, it was worth every time that we were there. So if you're in a shitty situation, stop, pump the brakes, think about the good. I promise you, there's a lot worse things going on in the world than maybe what you're dealing with today. I promise you that.
Yeah. I love your analogy about think back to where you were 12 months ago.
I've been thinking about it all day. It's been on my brain all day. It's insane.
Well, because we often forget that we were in a darker spot a year ago.
100%.
We often forget yesterday's woes, right? And we forget yesterday's successes.
Well, a year ago, we were all doing this from home.
Yeah.
Right. We were doing this in our Zoom room, right? Like your living room. You gotta mute the deal, yell at the kid, shut up, you live.
Yeah. I remember Brooklyn jumping on the back of the recliner. What are you doing, Jan? I don't know, changing lives. I don't know.
So
we're blessed, man. We're extremely blessed and fortunate to be able to come here and provide effective time management, to be able to come in here. We thank our wives and our families for allowing us to get here and share our experience, strength, and hope with the people out there.
Yeah.
But man, you know what? I really want to talk about tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
What
are we talking about tonight?
I'll tell you what we're going to talk about tonight, because this year has been crazy for me. This year, probably close to
statement.
This year, I want to say beginning in March of this year, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 7 to 10 people contact me to want to work for Doc's Roofing and Construction, right? No ad spend, no Indeeds, no monsters, no nothing. And it's just because they see me. They see me on social media. They see my videos. They see the quality of work. They understand the culture. They want to be a part of it. So whatever we're doing here within inside of our company is working, and it's on fire. And so today, now that we have those people part of the company, how do I keep them? How do I make sure that they're happy? How do I implement a successful training program? How do I hold them accountable? And are they sitting in the right areas of the company?
Right.
And so
aren't they your biggest asset?
Are they, you know what I mean? Or are they blowing smoke up my ass and saying, man, I just want to see this dude give me a check for a few months so I can make ends meet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
the title tonight is simply, do you have shitty employees? Right. And we're going to start getting just a little bit more aggressive with what we're talking about, because we want to keep it entertaining, right?
Yeah.
And what better way to stop and see something that says that on your Facebook?
Yeah.
And go, well, do I?
Yeah.
Because as we're thinking about where we were 12 months ago, we also need to be, like our man Casey says, where our feet are at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you proud on how many people this year?
So we're 10, 11 now. 10, 11, 12 people.
Casey?
He's got to be like
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
14.
And I just hired number 2.
He's up to number 2.
I'm the youngest one here. Everybody knows that. Well, business owner wise.
So now you're 3.
Ain't nobody older than this guy over here.
He doesn't even get a birthday.
But let's start out with this. I sat in a conference not too long ago, and this resonated with me big time. And I think it'll kind of get us into the flow state for the conversation tonight. Know the difference between hiring and recruiting.
That's critical.
Think about that and what that means to you guys. Do you want to build a brand and a culture that people say, I don't know what they do, but I want to be a part of it? Or do you want to put some Zoom or LinkedIn crap out and just get 100 different
randos?
I tried that approach, and it was just
randos.
These bloodsuckers.
Yeah.
They're like demanding, I want $50 an hour, and I just graduated high school. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I don't. So that's the beauty of being a business owner and staying small, because we get to actually choose who we want to allow in our circle. So
great point.
And when we're able to have that option and that capability, right? That's what's going to make the culture of your company that much more dynamic, right? When you're like, no, you're not a good fit for us. And they're gonna be like, well, why? I'm gonna tell them you're discriminating. I'm like, well, you tell them whatever you want. You just don't fit
Yeah.
you don't fit the mold that we're.
You don't fit my core values.
That's
Yeah.
that's
That's
oh
it.
my gosh. I mean, I
Yeah.
wish I'd have met Tom Keenan 8 years ago. But I'm telling you, I did the core value exercise 2 years ago because Grant Cardone said it in a training seminar, and I was like, you know what? I've never defined this. But once we started focusing everything on that, what we attracted was better,
Mhm.
right? What we recruited was
Yeah.
better. And you're absolutely right, Doc, about the putting the blast out there on the LinkedIn or the
Yeah.
Indeed or any of those application
But it's
websites.
expensive as two shits.
It is expensive, and
You get
did
30
you get good results?
30
Who'd
bucks
you
a pop.
recruit?
I had some gal hit me up who works at Walmart, wants to be an AV technician. Cost me $35 for that resume.
And we get it. People want it. People want to see it, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to give people any opportunity that they want. But
100%,
understand when you get into an industry that is sales based,
Right.
don't come at me looking for $100,000 salary just because you're in a roofing company.
Well, isn't the sales industry
Everything
you
sales.
kill?
Everything, but right, every business out there is if you don't have a great sales
Yeah.
platform, you're going to fail. But I'm not looking for a desk person. I'm looking for somebody that's hungry, that's ready to go out there, take the woes, and be ready to make real money.
So let's
Right.
talk a bit about the attraction process. What tell the audience, like, what are you attracted to in a new employee? You kind of just spelled yours out. You want
Mhm.
hungry.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for?
In a new employee,
Yeah.
I
Well, a new
want-
candidate,
a new candidate,
because we're talking the hiring side.
I want somebody coachable,
Okay.
right? I want
So
somebody
hungry, coachable.
inspiring.
So I'm going to just say it because I don't know if a lot of people feel this way, but I do. I don't give two shits about a resume.
No,
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
I
Your
can put
resume
anything
be
you want on
polished
a
and-
resume,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
I can Google a resume.
Yeah, the two people that I hired strictly off character and the ability to want to learn. So I'm with Casey on that
Yeah.
one, like
Yeah.
coachable.
Yeah.
And you want somebody that's able to think outside the box. I'm not looking for somebody to micromanage.
Mhm.
And I get it. There's people out there that fall on tough times, and they're just looking for that next job. For that, oh my gosh, I just need to make it to paycheck Friday. Well, they need a lot more than just a company to work for. Like, they need a whole mindset shift. They need to understand their own financials and why they got into that hole in the first place. I mean,
Yeah.
I was in the same boat, living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, we've all been
And
there.
until I figured out life and understood budgeting and cash flow and all this other rigmarole,
Yeah.
that things started to pan out.
Right.
But when I look for somebody, and I never tell people you work for me, like, we work together in order for us to be successful together.
Yes.
Right?
I'm the same way. I call them my colleagues,
Yeah.
not my employees.
Yeah, because they're not. I'm like, you're not
They're
an
they're your
employee.
teammates,
Yeah.
right? Like they're the people, right? It's the next man up off the bench, right? You need somebody to go run a play. You know, you don't call them your employees, right? You just that's a culture thing.
Yeah.
Right. You have to have discipline and leadership, but we've already talked about that previously.
Yeah.
What we're focusing on is retention. Just giving them that same egalitarian, right? You know, yeah, we're equals, but not exactly equals, right?
Well-
Well, there is a strict discipline, especially in
Let me barge in on that one, right? Because you're not the equal, right? As the business owner, you're not the equal. If Doc works for me, is he paying the workman's comp? Is he paying the insurance? Is he paying the food bill? I mean, we're paying the employee. So I think the way that you have to approach that is first you have to set the expectation that, yeah, we're not equals, but I'm going to treat you as good as you want to get treated,
right on.
right? You give me attitude, you're probably not going to be around very much, right? But if you're owning a business and you're young, like I am, and doing employees, and I'm just learning this stuff over the last year, like my guys know I'm their boss, and shit gets real when things don't go right.
Right.
But they also know I'm going to take care of them. Like, I'll
Right.
be transparent. Snowvid, Jared got paid. We didn't work,
Right.
but I took care of my guy. You know why? Because he's going to take care of me.
Right.
So don't.
COVID,
It's a blurry line.
Snowvid. I mean,
It's a blurry line, right? That whole like equals versus not. But I set my stage is set. We're not equals,
you're super equal.
right? Until you start paying all the company bills, we're not equal.
And so that's again, it has to be a defined line.
It does. It's
And
expectation management.
There are certain there are certain people that are allowed to go out and represent the brand, and then there are certain people able to go out and perform for the brand.
Oh,
Right,
that's
right,
great.
right.
I
So-
love
Well, but
that.
you know what we're talking about is that
Keeping them around.
I mean, and that's a huge part of this, right? That's a huge part of this is showing them that you care,
Mhm.
right? Because there's things that motivate, especially this workforce of mostly us. Let's face it, guys. Gen Xers, Gen Y, millennials, they want to know that they're at a place that cares about them so that they care about it.
What
Right.
gen are we? What's the Casey gen? What is it?
Baby boomer.
Boomer? Yeah, you
Baby boomer, I think.
You're spot on though, man, because people want to know in general, the human race wants to know that they're being, what is it, compassionate with one
Yeah.
another. But I'm just a hard ass, right?
Well, but that's okay because if they know you care, right? Because unlike the military, right?
Mhm.
The only pressure that you experience in private business is the pressure of something going wrong,
Mhm.
right? And there's a lot of pressure because you got all the expectations of the client, all the
Performance.
expectations of the boss, this, that, and the other. And if you have a culture that cares about its people, they care about the business and the culture of the business.
Yeah.
They're not going to be phoning it in. They're going to take criticism better, right? They're going to take it constructively. They're going to have a thicker hide. They're not going to, they're not going to say, fine, I'll just take my football and go home.
Yeah.
Right. These are the things that come from actually giving a damn.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about, both of you.
Yeah.
Well, we had a tough conversation this morning between a couple of team members, and it was like, well, I thought you were going to be there. Well, I thought you were going to be there. And I was like, well, at the end of the day, neither one of you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no, like, both of you are accountable for your actions.
That's a key word.
You know what I mean?
Complete
And I said,
100.
I said, if shit hit the fan, then y'all should have let me know, because I promise you, I was up at 6 o'clock this morning and I would have been there.
Right.
I love that because I always tell Big Country, if I know the plan that you have in place and it doesn't go well, at least I know about it. So that way, if the client calls me,
Yeah.
I'm not going, what's going on?
I'm not the damn
I will
mark.
support my guys even through mistakes if we're on the same page.
Right.
Go rogue on me, make a mistake, totally different conversation.
Yeah. And
So the retention part of keeping that is that they know the expectation
Yeah.
and the accountability. That's a huge word with employees because they need to be held. Us business owners have to be
We
held.
have to, right? Because they need to know that we want improvement, right? We want to develop somebody who
Yeah.
improves greater because there's a huge reason why. Because if you have to spend 20 hours with Aaron
Mhm.
or 20 hours with Big Country, or I've got to spend 40 hours between Yana and Joe,
Yeah.
right? Just that's 20 hours each to mentee, right? Each kid I'm mentoring. That time, that investment of my time over a year, over 2 years, it comes back like 200%, according to some of the industry stuff that I read. But the most important thing is that you build a culture where your
Yeah.
people know you want something for them, not just the labor from them.
Well,
Right?
and what that also brings to the table is you develop trust and loyalty, right?
Yeah.
You don't have that. I mean, the roofing industry, if anybody knows about it, is a cutthroat industry.
So we hear it.
And 90% of the time, people that turn out to be salesmen and they work for a company for 3 to 5 years and they figure out how the whole gambit works. They're like, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to start my own shit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go
Right.
do this.
I'm gonna go be my own lawyer, right? That's what he did. Like, you know, I'm done making this guy money. I'm gonna do it myself. But the problem is I don't want that. I want them to say, you know what, this guy pays me well enough. He treats me well enough. I have nothing to worry about. And that dude is fun, funny, and exciting.
I'm just grinding for them.
I don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But they're grinding for not only for the brand, but they're grinding for themselves, because in the sales game, or I don't care what you're selling, you should not have a glass ceiling.
Yeah, you've got to give that opportunity to grow.
Your earning potential should be unlimited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In any company that you work with, and if they're limiting you on how much money you can truly make, then that company you're working with probably doesn't have your best interest in mind.
You know
Right on.
what?
Diana, Jen, Jack,
Yeah.
hello, welcome. Thank y'all.
The
Thanks for
purple
listening
ESQ.
up.
What's going on?
You know what I took away there from me personally was when I see my guys win,
Yeah.
dude, I'm on level 10. Like I'm on, was it cloud 9 is what you call it, right?
Mhm.
Because leaders create leaders. That's the bottom line to
That's
it.
right.
So when you see your team winning, and then now the younger teammates see that team member winning, that creates in itself retention in itself because they see, yo, boss man gave him the opportunity to just hit the ceiling and break right through it. I can do that too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm where I am today, because that happened to me in the first AV company. I was like, dude, no one's taking initiative here. I got this. And I rose to the top of that business.
Right.
By
Right.
hustling and wanting to be coachable
Yeah.
and have the desire to win.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, and you see your guys win, the other guys see that, or gals, whoever, and it creates that retention within itself, especially when you take care of your people.
Well, that friendly competition, right? When you have those, like I have a competition going with amongst ourselves, where hey, you close X amount of contracts in X amount of time, I will take a company trip, all expense paid company trip. You know what I mean? And the goal is we have to put on 20 roofs in 1 month, right? It's not it's a SMART goal for folks out there. I work with SMART goals, and so
Now let's refresh.
what's that?
SMART is
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So with that 20 roofs, I hit all of them. It's 20 roofs in 1 month. It is attainable. It's realistic, and it's 1 month down.
right on. Right
And
on.
what the reward factor is, and I'm talking, this is 10 people to bring me 20 contracts in one doggone month. It's not unrealistic. And it's for, you know what I mean? I take them to Windstar Casino for the weekend. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Everybody gets $500 to freaking blow. Like whatever it may be, that's the reward factor, right? Because, you know, you brought in a grip of money for the company. So why not give it back to your company and your employees that are making you that much more successful? And that's how I feel like you're able to retain people. And then that's how, when your employees work, they go tell their friends, man, you gotta come work for this guy.
Right.
That's crazy.
They
Right.
can be your best recruiter.
You know, they should be.
They really should.
They should be. You should not have to have a headhunter,
Yeah.
right? You shouldn't have to put ads out, because the people working for you should want everybody that they know to work with them, because they're loving life so damn much.
Right.
Like, yo, quit AT&T. They're forcing shit on you. Go do your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by having that option to say, hey, do you love working here? Absolutely. Well, man, tell your friends about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if they're friends or anything like that guy, then the odds are they're going to be a performer also.
Yeah, and you'll be able to, when you build that team that's based off your core values and your culture, you'll see the burning flame walk in.
Yep.
You know, the one that kills the whole field.
Yep.
You'll see that guy because he's unlike everybody else.
Right.
And you can nick that in the bud real quick. So let's jump into talking about the right person in the right seat in the bus.
Yeah.
And
Because there's a few things we can dive into on that, right? And it's Doc, I'll let you lead with this one because you wrote some pretty solid notes up there. So go ahead and jump on that one real quick.
So what do we mean by right
My
person, right
guys can't
seat?
see that anyway.
Right?
So.
You won't get LASIK, will you, Jeff?
Here we go again. All right.
Hold on. Let me get my readers out.
Yeah. I
Hold
won't
on.
get LASIK because I'm a sissy. It's in the universe, Doc. There you go.
All right. Just want to know why.
Hey man, it's nothing wrong with wanting to keep your night vision.
My night vision's stuck.
Yeah.
We
We're
rolled
sleeping.
home last night. Just real quick short story before you jump into this. We go to pick Caden up at band practice at 8:00, and I just had these on.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't bring my regular portholes and tips driving. Thank God we got home safe. But I haven't drove or been outside at night without my glasses on. I can't see jack, dude. I don't even know how I made it through combat twice.
Gosh, you didn't need to see them.
Spray
Just supporting fire.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, put rounds down range, old dog, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll
So
see.
jump onto those three topics right there.
So-
real quick.
Right seat, right bus, right? What does that even mean? So as you're an owner of an employee of a company, there's different facets of your business, right?
Mhm.
Sales manager, ops manager, finances, integrator roles, right? Whatever. And so how do we know if that right person is actually in the right seat? And so there's some simple tools out there that you can implement inside your company. And does that person want it? Does the person have it? And then does that person have the capacity to fill that position?
Man, I gotta put that
Right?
in there. That's money. Dude.
So do they even get it? Right? So if I got a guy that says, man, I want to do sales. And I was like, all right, well, cool. That's the sales seat that person's in. And then I set him free and he's not really producing. But every time I said, hey, man, do you mind putting this shingle on the roof or a repair? Boom, Johnny on the spot puts it down. And so that makes me go, well, maybe he's not really a sales guy because he wants to do repair work. He gets to do the repair work, and he has all of the knowledge and mental capacity to do the repair job.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that means I have to take that person out of the sales seat and rotate them over to the operation seat. And so that tool has helped me and other business owners help classify where those people are at. And once you do that, you're able to have that type of success in your company, and,
Right.
and the growth will come.
So I want to dive into the 3 basics here because it aligns with the notes that you gathered for us at 03:30 this morning. Thank you, by the way. So I got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen for everybody to see it because this is heavy. Like this is Doc hit me with this when we were putting the notes together. Let's talk about do they get it?
Right.
Casey, talk about do they get it when you're putting them in the right seat? What does that mean to you and that employee?
Do they get it? Are they? I mean, it's got to align with them.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to put somebody in an uncomfortable. You want them. You want to get them comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right.
Yeah.
That's critical to keep testing
Yeah.
boundaries. Right. To keep helping them grow forward, because if you're just a cog in a machine, and I'll give you
We've all been there.
right? I'll give you a real life example. When I was a young lawyer, there were about a zillion cases about Navy asbestos. And they were like, oh, we've got a lawyer in the Coast Guard who worked on asbestos.
Yeah.
Hey, let's send that guy to take depositions of all these people dying of mesothelioma.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I did on my first day at that law firm. And 5 years later, that was the same thing I had done because I was so indispensable
Yeah.
in this, right, that I was not being allowed, right, because I was the key performance indicators for that business was to keep Casey right here because he gets it.
Yeah. But
Right,
did
there
you
was-
want it? But did you want it?
There was no opportunity to go anywhere.
No,
Right.
no. In your brain housing group, was that where you wanted to be?
Heck no.
Yeah.
Right. So you're
Right.
in the
I
wrong
wanted
seat.
to be, it's flattering to walk into a courtroom and the cross-examination is your video deposition.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. The managing partner of a nationwide firm is saying nothing. There's click play, listen to Casey destroy this case.
Yeah.
That's, oh yeah, man, look what a great job I did. Or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But when you do that, it's Groundhog Day every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You had that job. You had that job in healthcare. I know you had that job in healthcare.
Absolutely.
You had that job out in California,
Yeah.
and I'm not growing. I'm not solving. And let's face it.
Complacency.
We're here to grow personally, professionally, financially, and money comes to people who solve problems.
You know what you said earlier? You said something. Money follows what?
Success.
That hit me like a ton of bricks because we always preach on this. Don't chase a dollar.
Don't do it.
Money follows success. Dude,
It's inevitable.
when you said that earlier, I was like, dude, that like wraps up
Yeah.
so much. So when you
Hashtag
say
money follows success.
So when you say do they get
Do
it,
they get it?
that's more of a comprehension, I think.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
do they get the scope of the work?
Yeah.
Right. Do they understand that you're coming in to be a pencil pusher, or do they understand that you're coming in to be a leader and you're taking over a certain position? So do they actually fully understand the expectations of the business or the employee handbook or whatever? Like, I'm not that detailed in my business. I promise you, I don't even own a fucking employee handbook.
Like, we got to talk.
We need to
We got to talk.
Yeah.
whatever.
Make an appointment.
Let's talk about do they want it?
Right.
Because a lot of people, and I'm just going to go off and say this, and if I offend you too bad, a lot of people want a lot of things. We just talked about it, right? I want 180 grand a year. Yeah, I want 180 grand too. If you want it, you got to go get it. I just did a Facebook post a couple of days ago that said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, do they want it means are they willing to show me that extra mile when I don't tell them the exact detail of that scope of work?
Mhm.
And I'll give you a real life situation today. We were talking about this before. I see you on your Big Country. I'm about to shout you out real quick. I brought Big Country to the shop this morning, loading up at 07:45, 8 o'clock, whatever, and set him down in the office. And I said, I'm going to put you in a situation today that's going to hurt. I said, I'm doing this on purpose. And I explained to him exactly why. He went out there today. He used his thinking outside the box skills. He used his I'm not calling the boss skills. And instead of calling me with questions every 20 minutes, called me at 11:30 and said, hey, boss, we're almost there. We almost got the phase 1 of this done. That to me is they want it. That's my personal experience.
Right.
With it.
Absolutely. And there's Jack Burke. So Jack on there. This dude wants it, gets it, and has the damn capacity to make it happen.
You said something about the Winnebago. He's talking about Jesse Pinkman.
He's talking about the
Talking
Pinkman.
about
Jesse P.
Let me give y'all a little backstory with Jack. Okay, Jack lives down in Houston. Me and Jack built a friendship a while back about gaming, streaming, whatever. And next thing you know, we just became friends. And he told me that he was in the roofing industry. And I was like, well, man, let me help you out down in Houston. Things didn't work out. But then Hurricane Ida came through. And some friends of ours from down in Louisiana called me up and said, hey, man, can you provide some support? And I was like, absolutely. I called Jack up. I said, man, you want to go to Louisiana? He's like, yeah. I said, great. He's like, when do I leave? I said, right now, if you can. Dude, hopped in his car, drove from Houston to my house, went and hopped in my Winnebago, the Pinkman. If you guys don't know, this is a 2000 Fleetwood. Okay.
Good looking.
So you don't have to say nothing else. Pinkman.
Just
know.
Breaking Bad Pinkman. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And anyways, this was traveling methmobile. So head to Louisiana.
Without the meth.
Right where
Without
it
the
needs to
meth.
be.
Allegedly.
Right. And so he was like, because he was in a situation where I'm like, he needs to make money. He knows the industry. He loves the industry, and giving him the opportunity to make his life better.
Right.
Than
He was
it
committed.
was
He wanted
yesterday.
it.
So he was in the right seat and on the right bus, literally on the right freaking Winnebago bus.
Dude, that story sums up exactly what we're saying. Do they want it?
Dude, yeah.
When I ask you to take care of this and you see that opportunity, the employees that you hire, if they want it, they're going to jump on it.
Yeah. They're going to do whatever it takes.
And you know what? They're going to have to figure it out. All of us did it. You guys did it as well. And there's sometimes where the boss says, I need this done. And you go, okay.
Yeah.
That's how I got to where I was on an installer base in the world. Was like, hey, you're going to pick this man. You're going to take it over here and you're going to fix this. And I literally remember it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It took me twice as long as it probably should, but I figured it out, right? If your guys want it, give them the opportunity and let them go get it. That's the key.
And that's it. And then do they have the right knowledge, resources, and tool, right? So that's where we dive into that capacity.
Yeah.
Right. I know capacity is a multi-syllable word, so we can break it down. Do they understand the job description? Right? Do they have the required knowledge to perform at the level that you need them to perform at? And so that goes down to an excellent training program inside of your business. And Casey, I know, has a stellar training program within his law firm.
Yeah.
And so he understands that if somebody gets it and wants it, how can I give them the capacity to own it? And that's designed through training. So, I mean, tell us a little about how long it took to create that training to help them all get in sync and jive with it. 'Cause I'll be honest, nobody wants to go to training.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. He started himself.
Okay.
So he lit the fire, right?
Right. And I will tell you something that, I think definitions are important. So capacity is the ability or power to do or understand something, right? And I think that's critical to really ground ourselves in what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But training, look, we all learned how to do training somewhere. A lot of us, sports in junior high school, right? Things like that. Some of us went into the military. Some of us went into some other business sectors. But if you're training once a year, you're not training enough, right? You're not training enough. And I started realizing this, and I started doing some things, and that it took a while, right? Because when I started myself, I was lucky. I had after I got out of Groundhog Day, I was given some opportunities. I was given some big opportunities to learn how to do something, and I knew that I had the capacity to figure it out. And it's just like you talked about. It might have taken me twice as long, but I knew I had the capacity to figure it out. I got an at bat and I swung away.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was a walk-off one-run homer. Maybe it was a triple. Who cares?
It was a strikeout.
I took it.
No strikeouts.
You either win or you learn.
Hey, but you do sometimes.
Right. You do have strikeouts, but the point is that
you get hit with the ball.
you start learning later, especially when people start reporting to you, that you need to have systems in place, right? Processes, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, right? You onboard a new employee, you want to have some processes in place. And this is why I think an employee handbook is critical, right? These things are written down. So yeah, you need an appointment. But the point is that
I feel like he was talking to me or at me, but we'll replay the tape.
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Let's rewind that.
Rochelle, I'm going to set him up with an appointment. We're going to get that handbook tuned up. But the idea though is that you write this down once, right? How many to-do lists do you burn through in a day?
I just quit writing them.
One a day, but it has about 80 things on it.
Right. So the thing is that when you're onboarding somebody, it's like a micro to-do list.
Yeah.
Right. So when you train somebody to do it without recording it, it's something that's an action you're going to have to repeat for every new person you onboard who's going to jump in the Jesse P and go down to, next time it'll be Corpus Christi with the hurricane, right? But if you have some of that outlined, doesn't even have to be down to every little detail,
It's just the foundation, the structure, those little nuts and bolts.
Right.
But I think that the thing that we need to hit on is we know the processes are solid. We know we need them. Does that person have the capacity to understand those processes? Because that's really what it's about. You can have a book and give it to 5 different people, and every one of them are going to take something different away from it.
That's absolutely
We've all
true.
read the same books, right? And they all hit us different.
Yeah. I mean, it all has to do with how you input how you personally onboard information from everything in your childhood to who you are that day. You're absolutely right. And if it's not important to them, it's like when you hear that expression in one ear and out the other, the reason why that happens, I've been studying that, is because that information is not important to them.
That's right.
You need to read the book Beyond Positive Thinking, because it has a lot of insight into the way our mind works.
Yeah.
And it's why when we were employees and we were not thinking about growth and we were not thinking about God, health, and wealth, it's why we were focused on paycheck to paycheck, right? Because God, health, and wealth, right? That growth, that prosperity, not prosperity and having an abundant super life, but just survival, right? That was all we were focused on. So the job, the paycheck to paycheck, and how to invest and how to grow your business and how to you didn't have the capacity for that because it wasn't important.
How do you test capacity in your business?
You just got to keep pushing them.
Well, there's actual ways
with opportunities.
There's actual ways to be able to test that person's capacity, but it's a risk.
Okay.
I had to become willing to take the risk so that I would understand where that new hire failed at, where he was great at, and what happened in the middle. So if I know that person is outstanding at X, but he's definitely failing at Y, well, then that's where, when we go to the training platform, right, we focus on the why. You know what I mean? And so are we implementing the training properly? And then are we holding them accountable to the training processes?
Again, accountability.
It boils down to the accountability measure. And I give huge credit to Amy Johansson and her EOS program.
Hey, Amy, what's up?
Not her EOS, but the EOS program, it talks about that, the scorecard. Right. You're sitting down with them once a week and then once a month and then once a quarter. And you have these check boxes designed for that specific seat on the bus.
Okay. Well, I just heard something. And that frequency. That's right. Frequency, right? When you were practicing, I'll insert name of whatever, golf, when you're trying to get good at something, you're trying to get proficient at something. The frequency of your exercise, the frequency of your drill, practice, rehearse is going to have a lot to do with your competence, with your capacity to not suck, right? I remember one summer I learned how to do a no-look hook shot. I practiced that shot 2 to 3 hours a day, every day. And when I took the pickup courts in the fall with that shot under my belt,
you're flawless.
I mean, nobody could stop it, man. You're a little short white kid, right? You have to have an outside shot. You have to have a shot that is not defensible and a no-look hook shot, right? But it took a lot of frequency, a lot of contact. And that's what you need. That's what I'm hearing Doc say. You need to do in your training platform. It doesn't need to be a once a year. And that's, again, an opportunity I had at a law firm. Training was great once a year. Is that enough training? One time a year? That's like writing your goals down on the day after New Year's, right? You're all bleary-eyed from Santa Claus, and hungover from champagne. Oh, let me write my goals and blah blah blah, and then quit
Shit
going to
goes
the gym
nowhere.
on Martin Luther King weekend.
Yeah.
No. You need to do it maybe not every day, but you need to do it a lot more frequency.
So here's something I do with my guys to test their capacity is explain the scope of work. We show up on deck, we offload, and we walk the house. And I go through every room of everything that they need to do, and then we walk out to the truck and we have what's called a tailgate meeting. If anybody's been in construction, they know what a tailgate meeting is. You basically stand at the tailgate of your truck and you talk. And we ask each other, did I give you everything you need today to be successful?
Mm.
And then I give and I shut my suck and I listen. And then I say, okay, question, answer. And then I go, do you understand exactly what I expect from you today? Yeah, we're good to go, boss. Okay, call me if you have any questions. And then let them grow.
Yeah.
That's how you test the capacity for me in my business.
I love that.
Yeah, and so
I
there.
mean, it's
Danny, you hear
impactful.
that? We're having tailgate meetings starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
So get yourself a truck.
yeah. Get you a Ford pickup, but it's
Yeah, I
seriously
think she
because
has two.
that's a
We're good.
legitimate term in the construction industry.
That's right, tailgate meetings.
Yeah.
Call them tailgate parties.
And you can do them at the tailgate, you can do them at the coffee bar, you can do them at the conference room or whatever. But I ask them first, did I give you everything you need?
Right.
And then I shut my suck.
You got to listen up. This is their opportunity to give you the
Yeah.
feedback and get more mentoring, guidance, whatever.
Because I tell my guys, if I'm slipping, tell me. I want to know. The kudos are great when you do good jobs. Where I want to know is where I'm failing. Like you said,
You know where you're
the wild
strong, right?
variables.
You know where
Yeah.
you're strong,
Mhm.
right? This happens all the time in my industry, and people are asking, "Hey, do you think blah blah?" Clients especially, do you think A, B, C? Hey, you know where you're strong. We got to focus on where you're weak, right? It's just like boxing,
Yeah,
right? You need
for
to
sure.
know where you got to keep your arms up, right?
Yeah.
Stay off the ropes.
Where's the blind sides, right? Where are my blind spots at? Where's my
Yeah.
weak points?
Mhm.
And once we understand that, right?
Work on your footwork.
And it goes back to that. What's the analogy? You're only as strong as your weakest link, or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
But what by doing all of those things and putting all of those systems and processes and the seats and the bus and whatever, right? All it's really, in my opinion, designed to do is reduce friction inside the workplace.
110% agree.
Right.
Absolutely.
Reduce frustration within the workplace.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's nothing worse than we're freaking cruising right along, boom, 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 and then somebody didn't communicate effectively. Right?
And it happens.
It does happen. And it
Yeah.
was not intentional or whatever,
Yeah.
but now it's a hey, well, I thought, she thought,
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
I mean,
You're like
and then-
this now. Like,
right.
Who's that
and
first
then it's
base,
like at
right?
the end of the day, as an owner, you come back and you say, hey, everybody, don't worry about it. I'm going to take ownership.
Well, and then you have a culture of responsibility, and everybody's trying to own it.
That's
And
right.
so you cannot identify the breakdown in communication,
Right.
right? Because everybody's like, no, that's on me.
right.
No, that guy says it's on him. I mean,
But you know what that tells me, though? That the flow state is there in your business.
Yes.
Like, you do a damn good job having your team here at least twice a month.
Yeah.
That I know for a fact, where when I've come here to pick something up or whatever, that every doc member is sitting in that room getting some knowledge,
Mhm.
whether it's from Doc or Withrow or even other people I've seen here.
Yep.
Industry professionals, representatives for your products and goods, you said, all that kind of stuff. So capacity is deep, guys. If you're in your business right now, you know, I told Jared today, you have to learn how to use the new employee, and not in a bad way, right? I said, you have to understand who he is first. I said, go back 12 months, right? And I said, I had to figure out who you were before I could train you
Right.
who we needed you to be as the team member.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find out who your people are, so you know, do they want it? Do they get it? And do they have the capacity?
right.
Because if you understand who they are as a person, that makes it doesn't make it easy, but you have a little bit more clarity on who they are, and you can put them in the right spots. I've had some people that work for me that no matter what fucking seat on the bus I put them in, they
They were
they
killed.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there's
sometimes
other
that
people
happens.
too. No, and Doc said it too. Like, there's the other people I put on every bus, on
Yeah.
every seat, and they're killing it everywhere.
Yeah. But we have to be cognizant of that, right? Because
Mhm.
those people get burned out too.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was
You become the go-to, and sometimes it's a beating.
Well,
Right.
they get taken advantage
Hey,
of.
Chuck, what's up?
Yeah.
They
LeBeau.
get taken advantage of, and they get overutilized and burnt out. And so I'm still a big fan of the 20-80 rule.
Mhm.
If this
Let's
guy
refresh. Let's
if
refresh.
this guy excels at 20% of what he's great at,
Yeah, dominant.
then I don't want him out there bullshitting with 80%
No.
of miscellaneous things.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not what, because it's
Just
gonna,
focus him on his key
right.
performance,
If this
20%.
dude, Yeah, if this dude's closes sales, master of objections, and just boom, boom, boom. I don't want him on the job site making sure they put the roof on. I need him 5 houses down closing more freaking roofs.
Right.
I like that analogy. You need him ahead of the ball.
That's right.
So he's filling the pipeline.
Right, he's filling the pipeline.
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what he's
All about
20%
filling the
great at.
pipeline.
If your pipeline runs dry, we starve. Right.
Oh, you can't have that.
You can't have it. If you run low on fuel, you're going to run out. You're going to be on the side of the road going, "Hey man."
Be calling the AAA or get pinged and towed back home.
So I've actually read
You're right, Jack.
a real book.
What?
You know, I'm generally opposed to book learning. I say that all the time.
Say that one more time. You read a what?
I read a real book. Mike Bassett, you know
Okay.
that book, right?
Yeah.
It's not on audiobook, Mike. Please help me out. I never want to read again.
Hey, I hooked him up with our boy Danny Galvez, man. I don't know where it went, but hey, the Man in the Ditch needs to be on Audible.
It does need to be on Audible. It's a great book, but there was one thing that you just hit on that reminded me of Mike's book, is he's talking about, you know, your 20% guy, your key performer guy, or gal, or teammate, colleague, whatever. That person's life can be in the ditch just like that, right? An unforeseen car wreck,
Anything.
a diagnosis, snow vid, some sort of financial impediment to them buying their dream house, right? These things just happen. Life,
Structural chaos.
right? The
Life.
force of average,
Yeah.
the devil's outside doing push-ups.
Yeah.
So be in tune with that. And that's another reason why when you're not stretching them, right? You got 100% of employee, they're 20% key performance on closing, and then they're 80% above average on everything else. You're going to help offset that moment in the ditch for them if they're only focused on what they're great at, what they excel at.
Well, the other
That's a
thing
great
too
point,
is,
Doc.
you know, when you're pushing your employees, and this is just how I roll, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be tough, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna be tough on them. with the
Everybody's shocked.
expectations. Like,
Everybody's shocked.
we were
Raise
just
their
talking to
hand.
somebody in here before, and you know, they say you're a critic very quickly,
Mhm.
and that resonated with me because I am, and it made me go, wow, you know, you're right, and it's because I have expectations for myself, for my business, for my employees, and if I'm soft with them and I don't tell them, hey, it's time to have that tough conversation, they're not truly going to grow.
Right.
So you gotta. It's a balance. It's a pendulum of compassion, vulnerability. How do you say that?
That word.
No more big words.
Yeah, no more big words, but you know, balancing that.
Vulnerableness.
Yeah, there you go.
Vulnerability.
But you know, don't feel like you can't have the tough conversations. That's kind of what I'm trying to make a point of, because those tough conversations is where you really understand who that person is.
Well, and then they're just not happy
Mhm.
if you have them in the wrong seat.
Yeah, agreed.
They're just
100%.
disgruntled.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you're so good at it. You're like, yeah, but it's not their passion. If their passion is working with their hands, then let them work with their hands. If their
Yeah.
passion is to be able to go out and be able to just have a silver tongue, well, utilize it. And
Yeah.
right?
But doesn't this all go back to understanding who they are?
That's
This
right.
is what we're talking about
Right.
tonight.
It really is. Right.
It's
To
knowing
really
your
care
people.
about them.
Yeah, it's knowing your people.
Right. To make sure that they're aware that you want something more than just their labor. Right. You want something for them. You need to have meetings with them, not just the hard talk meetings,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But a meeting on a frequent basis of some kind where you're talking about what are your personal goals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where do you want to grow?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 12 months? In September 2022,
Mhm.
where does KC Ashmore want to be with Black
Yeah.
Level AV, right? Just using myself as an example.
But here's the other flip side of that coin. You are going to have people that literally just want to be coming to work, punch the clock, and go home. You need those people still. Right?
There's
But that still goes back to identifying, hey, you need those people that don't really want to do anything else other than just come bust their ass for 8 hours
Mhm.
and go home.
Right.
So don't forget those people are valuable as well. They're assets
Right.
as well.
But that's where you're monopolizing on their 20%.
100%.
right.
Yep.
They are 20% great at showing up on time.
Yep.
Doing what they're told, marking the boxes, and coming back and saying, "All done, boss. I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow."
Mhm.
Great, because if you start giving them more stuff to do, hey man, go try to close. You start feeding them leads, and he's a hammer swinger. Well, you're gonna get what you pay for. You know what
Yeah,
I
it's
mean?
insane,
You're
man.
gonna be running in the ditch and wondering why this guy's so mad at you, and ends up quitting because he's just not in the right spot. He loves your culture, but you got him in the wrong on the wrong seat,
Yeah.
driving off a cliff. And what that's going to create is going to increase your turnover.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of what we're talking about, is to decrease that because of the. Let's think about how hard it is to recruit the right guy,
It's
gal for the
dude.
bus.
Yeah, it's a
Right? You know, you got an
Yeah.
interview process. You know, I'm smart enough now to know I need to be not part of that process.
Mhm.
Right? I'm the last stop if I'm a stop at all.
I know, I always feel like I can't interview either. They hire everybody. I'm like, you're hired. You're hired. You're hired.
Like any stray
He's not
dog.
kidding. He's not kidding. True story. 2 weeks ago, we're in here. Dude walks in and says, "I know about 20 sales reps." He's all, "Bring them, every one of them in." I'm like, "Really, dude? You know what you just said?"
I did. I'm waiting on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man. I think the biggest takeaway that I'm gonna implement in my business is to start monopolizing on the monthly. Hey, where we at? Right, and implement that immediately, because if I don't know where they're at and they don't know where I'm at, really we're 2 degrees off and we're 200 miles north. Right. So our compass is no longer pointing in the same direction. So you guys got any save rounds?
Well, you just lose focus.
Yeah.
Right. And then the employees are left with that bewilderment state. Right.
I was there for
They're-
7 years.
They're
man.
left wondering, well, what does he really want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
Why am I showing up?
Mhm.
And and when you get to that state, there's that fork in the road, right? Well, all right, well, we're here, we're stuck, we're both looking at each other as eyeballs. Yep. Yep. Well, it's time to everybody's fucking been there. It's like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Got that
We
deer
got
in the headlights.
yeah,
light going on.
and it's time to make those tough choices. All right, well, cool. What are your personal goals? What am I not providing you that's going to make you become a better person of yourself? Right? We in this Apex, we're part of it's the most elite version of yourself,
Mhm.
and that's what we're
Love
trying to
that.
do every single day.
God damn, I love
You
that.
got to get out of that.
You got to get out of the
10X
car.
jet.
I don't know, man. I love me some 10X.
You
Love it.
You got to get over here.
Man, I was on a call with Brandon last night, and that was
I'm just
inspiring.
going to tell you, when your time runs up with Grant Cardone, jump on the Apex.
I think probably we're going to need to do both, because
Yeah.
I want us to be in complete synergy. But it's
You
I want to
join the dark
So
side.
10 times it.
I want to
Join the dark
10X the Apex.
You got it. Grant Cardone, here you go.
Hey,
No.
but hang on, Instagram, we love you.
That was a piece.
IG.
I
Hey, I got a save round.
Get it?
do have a save round too.
Oh, go ahead, go.
You can go.
Okay, look,
Roast
things
your
I'm going to implement. Rock, paper, scissors. No. I love tailgate meetings.
Mhm.
I have never thought about implementing that,
Mhm.
but I was just thinking today. So I gave a training with my peeps, Diana. Thank you for the love.
Shout out
that-
to her. She's solid, by the way.
Yeah, she's fantastic. But I'm going to add a tailgate meeting to the next time I do that. But here's the other thing. And again, these are real world takeaways that you entrepreneurs, you business owners, you aspiring business owners, people who want to improve yourself, right? Bring this to your work. But here's the other thing, right? Frequency. Doc talked about frequency and training. Jeff talked about frequency and training. I talked about frequency and training.
Yeah.
YouTube videos are 4 minutes to no more than 4.5 minutes long. That's like 90-something% of them, right? That is a micro study of human attention span.
Wow.
Your training needs to follow that micro study. You got 4.5 minutes in a day, right? And you can pack a lot of information. Think about an objection drill, right? An objection drill to handle things with your client. Or if it's a technical drill, right? For 4 minutes, we're going to work on a jury charge, right? For me, for Jeff, it's for 4 minutes. We're going to work on all the people during Snowvid, right? A micro study of upgrading all of their, during COVID, right? A micro study of upgrading all of their home internet. We're going to cover the big key points,
Mhm.
right? It's not a 10-hour study. It's 4.5 minutes.
I think any real man worth his weight in salt can make a lot of shit happen in 4.5 minutes.
Right. So do what emulate the great. Google and YouTube
Yeah.
do this. You should do it.
Mhm.
That's my save round. Thanks.
You hear that, Withrow? We only have to have 4-minute meetings now, not 2 hours. I think majority of us might stand up.
I think his 4 minutes gets used better in other places, though.
Yeah, but
With his little freaking
I-
semantics he's got going on lately.
I love the fact that you can break it down and understand the concept of how the brain actually operates and how you keep them gainfully engaged and how do you spark that interest. And the most important thing is how do we make sure that they retain it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because we can spend that 4 minutes effectively jaw jacking, or we can spend that 4 minutes really pushing data into their brain and putting it into their subconscious
Testing the capacity.
so we can feel their capacity.
Mhm.
But here's my Save Brown, right? You guys know we're the Patriot Business Alliance. And this Saturday is probably one of the most near and dear. It's not a fucking holiday at all, but it's a Remembrance Day. It's a Patriots Day. And so for those out there, we're coming up on that 20-year anniversary of September 11th. There's a lot of great events. Me and my boy Jeff, we were actually together in Afghanistan on September 11, 2001 in the same area.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, this particular day of remembrance is near and dear to us. And this is, I want you guys to take a moment and just a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of thankfulness, right? There's so much hate and discontent that's inside of this world right now that we need to take a moment and say, you know what? There's people out there every single day, not bitching, not complaining, suiting up, showing up, and doing what's right in the back scenes to make sure that that America is still on track.
Doing the work.
Doing the work. There's people back there that don't, like ourselves. We don't sit around bitch, complain, and go, man, woe me.
Shoulda, coulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. How come that guy's got 4 Lambos and I don't? How come they're starving people on Malcolm X Boulevard and they're driving? You know what I mean? It's like, get out of this woe me mentality and appreciate the country that you live in today. Because I promise you, if you go across the pond anywhere, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Afghanistan, you will soon realize that you are in the greatest country in the world.
100%.
So get out there and love your ass some America, because this is the Patriot Business Alliance.
And just to kind of touch base on that, 7 p.m. at the main Rockwall County Courthouse, the American Legion Post is holding a evening
Remembrance
there.
Yeah.
I challenge you guys. We're going to be there. I mean, we're going to be supporting. And the biggest thing that I can tell you guys is, like, we're not here in America to feel sorry for ourselves. And how we're going to take back what I'll just say it. We're going to take this country back with our youth.
That's right.
Train your young leaders. Instill the things we talk about in them. God, imagine being 15 and having someone fill us with this information where we would be. But here's the deal. Go out, do the work. If you need positivity, hit us up. You want some knowledge on core values, want some knowledge on business, give us a call. That's why we're here. Hit us on the Patriot Business Alliance TX@gmail.com. Share this. Take it to we're live on YouTube, and we got some big things coming up. Q4. Hey, if you're not planning for Q4 2022. So long story short is we're here for you guys. That's why we do this every stinking week, because we love to see people succeed. The synergy in this room and everything that we can provide to you is why we do this. So
we got a huge Q4. Whiteboard party, folks.
Yeah. And I'll throw a little thing out there. Veterans Day. Going to be a little something from Smoke Sessions Barbecue and Black Level AV going down. More details to come, but it's going to be insane, and we're going to expect the community to rally behind it. It's going to be amazing. So, anything else?
I think we have a new studio coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you want
We
to
got some big things. We got some big things
I'm telling
coming.
you, folks, where we were a year ago was in our living rooms. Where we are today is moving into our own studio, our own podcast room, our own, you know what I mean? Like, we are here to stay and grow and become the best versions of ourselves. We want to be the leaders that want people to aspire to become leaders. We are not in this to make money. We are in this to create success for America, because ain't nobody going to do it. The government will not save your ass.
They're not going to save you.
But the people in the world, the patriots of this world, will come together and unify for the greater good. And so I just want to let you guys know, thanks for being a part of this and supporting this program. And we're going to be back every Wednesday punching each other in the mouth. So go out and love someone.
That's it. And get ready for $10,000 Thursday.
$10,000 Thursday. See you later, IG.
The whole time, and then just like you know, it's like
He's
oh
too
my
he's
God,
too he's too
dude.
laid back. I mean, I liked his input, and he would drop some little knowledge bombs, kind of like Mitch would.